Hello and welcome to my photography channel. My name's Steve and today I'm going to be editing an image in Luminar 4. It's a program that I've recently bought. I haven't really used it yet. I've installed it and just run through it just quickly, make sure it all works. Normally I edit everything, all my images in Lightroom. The version of Lightroom I've got is a standalone version, so it's quite an old one. It's probably about 5 or 6 years old. I bought it for about £109 and it's a non-subscription model, so once I've bought it I've got it forever. What I've decided to do though is instead of going down the route of going to a subscription model and paying so much a month, I decided to buy another editing program, Luminar 4, and it's a one-off payment, and I want to see if I can edit the landscape pictures that I take in Luminar 4 instead of Lightroom, just so I've got some kind of workflow and see if I can do it. So I'm going to make this video just to see if I can do it. So this is the image I'd like to edit. We've got some moody clouds, we've got a little church on top of a hill, and also we've got some poppies in a field in the foreground. First thing I'd like to do is go into the essential panel. We go to light. I'm just going to change the smart contrast just down a little bit. I'm going to get rid of some highlights so it brings out a bit more detail in the clouds. That'll do for that. Let's come off light. Let's go to detail enhancer. Now in the detail enhancer you've got an edit mask, which is quite handy. I'm going to click on the brush. The brush size I'm going to reduce slightly, and I'm just going to add, say, about 20% of sharpening, and I'm just going to run it over the top of the hill like so. Now after I've done that, I've got small detail, medium detail and large details. I'm just going to bring them up just slightly again as well, just so we've got a nice bit of definition in the top of the hilltop there. And so we've now got that sorted. Let's come off detail enhancer. I'm now going to go to Vignette. With this, it's quite handy. We've got choose subject. So with my little pointer here, I can choose anywhere in the image that I want the vignette to start. I'm going to be about a third of the way up in the center. It's about there. We'll click on that. The amount, I'm just going to bring that down about there, just so we've got a little bit of vignette around the top there, so that makes the clouds a little bit darker. And then we've got the size. So if I bring that in, you can see that the clouds are really starting to come alive now. And we've still got the detail in the church at the top. We've got the advanced settings in the vignette. We've got roundness. Let me just go either way with that. So if I just bring it -14, just down a little bit. And then we've got feathering. No, double click. I'm going to keep that as it is. And then we've got the inner light as the last slider. Let me just see what that does. Just bring it up just to about number 11, just to keep a little bit of detail and a little bit of light in the hilltop there. Quite happy with that. We'll come out of vignette. So that's the essential panel. Now I'm going to go down to the pro panel. We've got, let me see, color enhancer. Is that what I want? Nope, it's not. I'm going to go back to, I want to find color. There we go, there's color. So this is like your HSL slider. We're going to start work on the grass first. So I'll start with the yellows on the grass. We just go left to right. Let's just see which way's best for that. I'm going to keep that in the middle. We'll go for saturation. Just warms up the grass just a little bit. Luminance, I'm going to keep that as standard on that because I don't want to blow out the poppies. So we've got a red. Let's see what we can do with the poppies. Give them a little bit of saturation to make them pop. About 10 on there. Let's go to the hue. See if we can. What happens when you change the colour? I can -9, I think, on them. So you've still got some real bright colours in the foreground. Now what I'm going to do next is come out of the colours. And I'm going to go to the professional panel. Now we've got advanced contrast. Now in the advanced contrast, highlights contrast. So if I start bringing that up, We're starting to darken the clouds down, but we don't want to darken them too much, so we've got highlights balance, bring them out a bit so it still keeps them quite bright. The mid-tone contrast, let's have a look, see what that does. That makes it a bit too crunchy, so I'll just give a 5 on that. Mid-tone balance, let me just go left and right, that's not making much of a difference. I'm just going to bring the mid-tone balance up a little bit. And we've got the shadow contrast. Now, there aren't really many shadows in this, so I'm not quite sure what that'll do. That's just flattening out the picture. I don't want to do that. So I've had enough of the advanced contrast. Now I'm going to go to the adjustable gradient. Now you've got top and bottom. I'm going to start with the top, so this section up here. So let's just bring the exposure down a little bit more, get rid of a little bit more highlight. So I've done this in the first round of edits, but now I'm just going to concentrate just on the top half of this image. Let me just see what that's like. So keep the shadows, warmth. Now I don't want them to be too bright. Let's bring them down a little bit. Let's go warmth, let's go the blue side, -10. Quite happy with that. Now we'll go to the bottom half of the image. So this is all new to me, because obviously when I'm normally editing stuff, I'm editing it in Lightroom, but this is basically one of my first images I've edited. So we've got the bottom. Let's go to the exposure on the bottom half of the image. Let's just see if we can balance the top. We don't want it too bright because that's just blowing it out. We'll bring it in a little bit. Exposure down to -37. Now it's just a question of just balancing the contrast. I'll bring that up a little bit. Now we'll go down to the warmth. Let's see which way works best. We'll probably get away with just bumping the warmth up a little bit. So I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy that that image is just a 5-minute edit, just to bring this raw image to life. So let's just take a look at before and after. So that's before, flat image, shot in RAW, and that's a 5-minute edit with Luminar 4, and basically this is one of the first times I've used it. I'm quite happy that that is a lot better than what I thought I could get. So I'm really happy with that. So I will be using this program in future. It was about £50, which is quite cheap really, since you get a lifetime use out of it. I will still be using Lightroom, but I think I'll be coming away from that and using this a little bit more. You have got a lot more scope with this. You've got creative, which you can actually add sun rays, dramatic, matte look. So that gives it a little bit more Photoshop kind of things. You can add stuff to it. I don't add anything to mine normally, so but you have got scope to do that. So you've got glow, you've got fog, film grain and all that as well. I'll probably make a video on all these extra bits at a later date, but the main ones I'm going to use, like I have done today, is Essentials and the Pro. That's all I'll be using. That's all I'm using today, and I'm quite happy that that is done what it should do. I'm really happy with the way that the workflow's gone on this. I will be using Lightroom still, but as a program that has just got the basics, if I want to just use the basics just to tweak an image and just to bring it to life, then Luminar 4 I will definitely be using. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.